From the Chris Williams portfolio of blogs, this is youtube.com/MrChrisAlpha2004 in association with the CAZZAS-STUCK-ON-U eBid shop.
So yes, do visit CAZZAS-STUCK-ON-U at eBid, where you can buy stock like what you see here for Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I understand that's come out on DVD here in the United Kingdom in recent weeks, and I think it's true around the world as well. Right, I'm Chris Williams. Welcome to my video blog for Monday, the 29th of November 2010. Big topic I want to talk about in this blog: WikiLeaks. I've written about WikiLeaks posts on my written blog, musings.chriswilliams.blogspot.com, in the past, but as it's such a topical topic around the world, I would record a video blog about it today. Now, very embarrassing for the Americans, but I don't think it endangers security. I gathered there's been complaints about Prince Andrew of the United Kingdom being rude when in Washington. Well, that doesn't endanger national security, but it's rather embarrassing because it's managed that Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice, for that matter, ordered the United Nations to be bugged. Well, that's just stupid. What's the point of bugging the United Nations? And of course, that's funny business by America. The United Nations is supposed to be neutral territory where the friends of the world get to meet each other. No, you can't use the United Nations as a mechanism to sow the seeds for war. Turns out the Arab nations have been getting worried about Iran. Well, that's not surprising. No, if I was living next door to a crazy person, I'd be worried. So you would assume that the Arab states would be worried about Iran and that they would voice such concerns to the Americans. So that's nothing too shocking from the stories coming out of WikiLeaks. I understood in the hours before the leaks were made that someone was trying to hack into WikiLeaks to stop them from publishing their information. Clearly, the American State Department there trying to do something, and I understand that Julian Assange, who is in charge of WikiLeaks, he's quite interesting because he's been accused of rape a number of times recently. Then the allegations get dropped. Then the court says that they're gonna put the allegations on after all. So there's a witch hunt against him as an individual to try and get him off the scene. He's ample for state-sponsored assassination because no state does that, I don't think. So if he were to die in mysterious circumstances, then it's clear that there would be the Americans behind that. So the Americans just have to play ball at the moment. It's all a public relations disaster for America, and so they're going to tighten their security on their intelligence documents. About 800,000 personnel have got access to this confidential information. That's not very confidential. 800,000. That's nearly the population that lives here in Cardiff, where I blog from. I understand that of the 3 million who live in Wales, I think it's around about 1 million who live in Cardiff. The figure is constantly increasing. So that's one entire community having access to confidential information, and they're trying to determine who the one rogue element is who's given all this information to WikiLeaks. And apparently it's Corporal Bradley Manning, who is the one individual that they know of who has provided this information, but they say the current information that's leaked probably did not come from him. It's probably come from a higher ranking official. As I say, I wouldn't say that it causes too much of a national security bother for America. It's just them being sloppy with their intelligence, and obviously this is likely to happen again in the next few months. And it's going to take years for them to tighten their security to stop this from happening. But is it right for a website like WikiLeaks to provide confidential information for the public to see? Well, I think it is. I myself have suffered bullying in university, and I know that a few months ago I placed on the internet evidence of the bullying I was subjected to, try and stop the bullies from bullying me, and it worked to some extent. They wasn't happy about me placing on the internet for the public to see what they sent me in private. they thought they were sending me the abuse in private, but I showed the world that they sent me the abuse that was supposed to be private, but I showed it to the public audience, and that stopped the bullying. So victory for me, and it shows that you can be very influential when you give information to a public audience, where you can change opinions. Because WikiLeaks, of course, seems to be in the business of whistleblowing and changing opinions and exposing the truth. So that if you think one thing about America, you see from these leaks that something completely different is the case. These leaks have shown so far that America is very wound up following 9/11, and that's why they went to spy on people in the UN. And a few years ago that a plot was uncovered to spy on Kofi Annan, the then Secretary General. Why would you want to spy on the Secretary General? He's not a threat to global security. So, see, it's paranoia making them look stupid. Because this is still a developing story, there's a drip feed of information coming out from the newspapers, in particular the New York Times, I think it is, and also the Guardian, United Kingdom, also Le Monde and Der Spiegel. They are other newspapers who are being supplied the material from WikiLeaks. But at this point in time, I think it's just political embarrassment rather than national security issues that are going to be the consequences of this current second stage of WikiLeaks information being disclosed to the public. And I think that WikiLeaks should be allowed to continue. I understand they have their servers in European nations where freedom of speech is the order of the day, and indeed America would have to do quite a lot to change the freedom of speech laws in those European countries. So it's not going to happen, is it? So the freedom of speech in those countries will remain, and that means WikiLeaks will continue. They're going to try to bring charges against WikiLeaks in America, I imagine, but apparently it's going to be difficult for them to proceed with such charges, as WikiLeaks does not have a base in America. So, very interesting, and indeed, as some of the news websites have said, WikiLeaks appears to be a brand new form of journalism, giving information to the traditional media. I mean, the internet is now leading what the news is, rather than the news happening in the real world and then being posted on the internet for people to read about in their leisure time. Okay, that's all for today's video blog. Do join for more over the next few days, weeks and months, and do visit musingsofcrispums.blogspot.com, where today, Monday the 29th of November 2010, I broke a record for how many visitors I have had to musingsofcrispums.blogspot.com since I started to keep records of viewers. I think I've now had something like 3,000 visitors, just over 3,000 visitors to my written blog since the viewing figure counter was activated, because on YouTube, where you'll find this video, I think, I have had an average of 180 viewers a day. So thanks for joining me if you're a regular. Okay, until next time, it's bye for now. Bye bye.